up, YouTube? Kedris here. This is my match preview for Nottingham Forest versus Crystal Palace. This match will be taking place at the City Ground on Sunday, and I think it's going to be a very tight affair. I know we're all coming off of the nice win we had against Ferencváros on Thursday, but even though Crystal Palace have lost Jean-Philippe Mateta, I think they will give us a run for our money. If not for any other reason than spite. Let's get into it. Alright, so this is FOTMob. This is one of the apps I use along with SofaScore and the JLA Tactics board in order to kind of break down tactically what Forest does. As you can see here, it generates a probable lineup, a possible lineup. It does the same thing on SofaScore. Not sponsored by either, by the way. And I think these are great tools for you to use, and I always recommend them in my videos. Looking at Crystal Palace, it seems to be they're going to stick to their formation with Henderson, flashback to the past in the goal. Richards, the American, on the left, where Gahey was before he went to Man City. Lacroix still there. Canvat is going to be starting. Munoz on the right. He's a 29-year-old right back, really good. A lot of teams are looking at him as a kind of like now option at that position because of the work he's been putting in. In the middle, you see Emre and Lerma. Lerma, very physical player. He is prone to disciplinary problems, but overall, I think he's a good 6. Emre, he's kind of a squad depth player. Wharton has been suspended for this game. Shout out Chelsea. Thank you. And so a lot of their creativity is going to have to come from the interchange between the front three, which is Sarr, Uche, and Johnson. Now, Uche has been making some appearances in matches, and when he's come on, he's looked lively, but I don't think he's really affected the game in the same way that Mateta does. Johnson returned to the City Ground for the homegrown boy, the Academy star. You know, even now I still look at him with fondness, and I don't think he's going to celebrate if he scores a goal. And will he score against his old club? That would be poetry, wouldn't it? The last position available, Mitchell on the left, left back from Manchester United, came over last season, I believe. Hasn't done much. Watching him, he seems to be kind of just your average left back. I wouldn't even say he's a starting quality, but that's just my personal opinion. Pulling it up, I think if we watch the Ferencváros match on Thursday, you already understand kind of what the team's going to look like. Number 1, in goal, Matt Sells, 100%. He's our keeper. We are looking at some keepers in the transfer window. That's more of like for depth options because John Victor is going to be out long term, whether that be real or from Pride. Who knows? But Angus Gunn is looking to leave and get minutes so that way he can secure his international spot as the starter for Scotland. So I expect him to lead the window pretty late, and I expect us to get a goalkeeper in pretty late. If y'all want a transfer video, hit a like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I'll put out a transfer update. Moving on to the center backs. I mean, at this point, it's done and dusted. Morato continues to make bozo errors, which we don't want to see. So it's going to be Murillo and Milinkovic. And I don't think either have an issue. I think they're both coming back into their imperious forms from last season at the right time. And I think the return of Aina is a reason for that. Speaking of Aina, here he is. Is he going to play on the left? Is he going to play on the right? Or are we kidding? He's going to be on the right. Sean Dyche actually thinking? No. You be tripping, dog. So anyways, this is the standard back 5. Sells, Aina, Williams, Murillo, Milinkovic. Moving to the midfield, obviously Anderson was suspended for the match against Ferencváros, and we'll be coming right back into it. I believe, based on the substitution, Sangari, I think, played a little too long for my liking, but he will still start next to Anderson. This seems to be our best midfield duo at the time. Shout out to Dominguez and to McAtee, who I think put in a really big shout to start. I just think that these two right here are just, their quality is just too high to not be starting. And they work so well together. The formation, I guess this is the point where the formation kind of reveals itself. It's a 4-2-3-1, obviously. It's the only formation we play. I've seen a lot of people talking about us wanting to get another striker in. I don't know why you want to switch to a 4-2-2. I mean, a 4-4-2. I just think in this day and age, that formation is way too lightweight, especially in the midfield, and you need that third midfielder. Even if it's a 10 who kind of drops in like he's half in the midfield, you need it. I personally want us to go to a flat 3 in the midfield, but we don't always get what we want. Hopefully the next manager thinks about it. Moving on to the wingers. Callum Hudson-Odoi is going to start. You can see by the minutes he played. Now the real question here is, does Hudson-Odoi start on the left or the right? And the reason I ask this is because what the real question is does Dominguez start on the wing? I mean, looking at this, your options are Hutchinson or Ndoye. And based on the substitutions in the Fenerbahce match, I feel like it's going to be Hutchinson. I really do, because Dominguez was on very late, and Ndoye never came off. So I think Ndoye doesn't play, and it's going to be Hutchinson and Callum Hudson-Odoi, which is very attacking for Sean Dyche. I mean, it's what you should be playing, but I don't know. He's like that Dominguez on the wing thing. My problem is like, do you really need to go get so defensive against a team that's so decimated and so floundering with players leaving left and right? They're in disarray. Like, I don't think so. I think you need to attack. I think you need to go for the throat, and especially at the City Ground where you have the crowd backing you, especially after a European night like we had on Thursday. Got to show up. Got to play big. And especially the starters that came on and didn't look good, you got to look good now. Speaking of starters that came on and didn't look good and got to look good now, Morgan Gibbs-White. I mean, what can I say? It is what it is. He's going to start, guys. Deal with it. Now, this is the interesting part. Because one, I think the formation is pretty much set in stone with the players. It's just two positions that are kind of flippy floppy and kind of up for interpretation based on your taste as a fan. One is obviously the left wing position / right wing position. Hudson-Odoi is obviously going to start, but you got a case of McAtee, you got a case of Hutchinson, and I mean, I want to not say Ndoye, but he is in the bag to be picked. So I think that's the position that's kind of up for grabs. The other position that's up for grabs is striker. Igor Jesus played pretty deep into that game. He played pretty deep, and Awani didn't start. And he didn't come on. Mostly because he's not registered for European matches. But the other point is that Luka is also here, and he didn't play, and he didn't start, and he wasn't in the squad. So, do you start Igor Jesus? He's in banging form, but he just played a crap ton of minutes on Thursday. You got to start an informed striker, right? But I don't think you do. Not with the minutes. You got to manage the minutes. I think he subs on. I think Igor Jesus subs on. I think we see a debut for Luka. I think we do. I think this is where it's going to be. I think we see a debut for Luka. I think Igor Jesus can be on the bench along with Taiwo. And both of these guys can affect the match. For me, Igor more than Awani, but Awani has shown against Arsenal that, or not Arsenal, Brentford, that he can make an impact. So we got two, decent options. And I think this is just a minutes thing where you're managing his minutes. So this is going to be my full formation going into this match. My prediction, I think debut for Luka. I think we see Hutchinson come back in the fold. I think we get a win. Crazy as that sounds, I know I'm a negative Nancy, but I'm flying high off the match with Fenerbahce, and I think it's going to either be like a 1-0, 2-0 win for us, or it's going to be a draw, like a 0-0 draw. I think they're going to dig in deep. I think they're going to play us spitefully and hope to get a result. What do you think the result's going to be? Let me know. Leave a comment down below. Like, subscribe. And remember, most important of all, come on, you Reds.